Hello, Alex Lafkus here. Um, I just wanted to talk about a few basic things. A lot of you guys know me through the fly fishing stuff, which is what I've been doing the longest, but I don't know how well you can see the background here, but I do a lot of cure fishing as well. So there's probably going to be some changes to the channel, just as far as content featured. Um, as we move into fall, we're going to have some pre-spawn streamer fishing, and then we're going to have, once the browns start spawning, I go spend a month up in the UP muskie fishing. A lot of it's with gear. As you can tell, I've got, bulldogs, trolling baits, about one of about everything, because I'm a gear junkie with no kids at home, so I spend all of my money on toys. Um, but I just wanted to let you know that there will be some changes about that, which I don't know. I think it's good. It's what I like to do. I don't really consider myself a fly fisherman. I kind of just consider myself a fisherman. I use flies in rivers for trout because it's about the most ideal species and environment to target fish with a fly rod. I like doing the bass on flies in the lakes as well when available. But, I adjust. There's a lot of times in the summer where they just go too deep and the fly really isn't the best program for them. So I do my spin fishing and I throw bait casters and I'll throw spinner baits or jigs or drop shot or whatever you got to do to catch fish. Muskies in the lakes, a lot of the lakes I fish are really low density. I do a lot of gear, a little bit of trolling. Used to troll more, but that's changed. So you learn a lot from doing all of it. And I think that by being just a fisherman, you can learn how to apply different situations, different techniques into your fly fishing back to spin fishing. I think it's smart. So there's probably going to be some changes. The name of the page may change at some point. There's a couple of things I've been looking at. I've gotten some good suggestions from some buddies. So we may do that at some point just to make sure it's a little bit more encompassing so it doesn't kind of paint me into a box that I'm not really in. But I also do, ideally I'll fish the fly rod. I also do, I'll spin fish for walleyes when that's that time of year and when the water gets really cold. I do like throwing flies for muskies, but it's just tough. I've been considering going up to the UP to do some stuff with, or not the UP, but over to Wisconsin to film some stuff with Willen, if we get the right time or time frame that he's off and it looks productive. So we're just going to try to do a little bit more. That's how I fish. I think it's advantageous to everyone. Sure, it'd be great if, you could always use a fly rod and catch them, hand-to-hand combat. Sometimes you see better eats, all of the above, but it's just not the case. So we do a little bit of everything. The rubber bite for muskies is awesome. I mean, you've never felt that. I've had clients who I fly fished with see me double over with a 500 Tranx and a giant rubber bait, and they're like, I gotta do that. So it's just making the most of all of your fish regardless of technique. The trolling thing might not seem like a great idea or boring to a lot of people. It is, but frankly, if you want to catch the biggest muskies, you're going to catch them trolling. It's very rare that you catch those casting, especially in the environment that I fish part of the year, because it's, you get a lot of clear water and it's just really difficult. So I just want to throw that out there. And I kind of skipped the steelhead thing as far as guiding. I've got the ability to go to Tippy and do some guide trips, but because I have tags for that section, I just don't do a ton of it. It gets busy. I kind of like to venture off and do my month of muskie fishing. That month of muskie fishing is, I've already got 14 days booked of the 30. But we're probably going to try to do some fly stuff up there too, and I want to try to film that. We're going to do some fall stripping streamers. I'm probably going to get out in about a week or two with Russ to strip for kings in the river. We'll do some steelhead stuff, once we get into October, November, probably late November, because I'm going to be gone till November 20th. So I'm on the UP October 20 to November 20. We're going to try to get some stuff in earlier. We're going to go down to the Grand, hopefully, and strip streamers down there with Christian Gradowski, who's been helping me a ton with a lot of this filming. So there's a lot on deck. And then we'll do some post-spawn streamer stuff as well on the rivers, and that's kind of when the musky bite dies for me, but the trout fishing gets good. So I'm really just chasing seasons no matter what time of year it is. And that's the only way to fish in Michigan, man. If you just are a dry fly fisherman for trout, you got 2 months of, it's fun. But I wanted to also mention, if there's things that jump out to you that you have questions about with gear fishing. I've been doing the gear fishing really hard for about 10 years. And when I say really hard, I still mean, 100, 120 days a year, whether it's bass, muskies, and stuff. So I've spent a lot of time doing it. I might be able to help you on some of that stuff. So shoot questions about gear fishing too. That's where I learned the crazy Alberto knot, was watching people tie carbon to braid and light line. It's where I really got good at sharpening hooks, is learning how to sharpen hooks for trolling for muskies by a good buddy of mine who had the state record a few years ago at muskie. So you can put all of this together and make yourself a better angler. But feel free to shoot any questions, concerns, rods, reels. I'm a gear junkie, so I buy a ton of stuff. I try different brands. I got Shimano's, Daiwas, Abu Garcia's. I bought some of the cheap, what are they, Piscifun or whatever reels for $70. I got different spinning reels from every company, So I do try a lot of products, different hooks, all of that. So feel free, shoot any questions you might have about the gear fishing stuff too. And there will be more of that content rolling out. So I just kind of wanted to make a brief announcement so it doesn't catch anybody off guard when all of a sudden they see lures flying around. But anyway, I appreciate all the support. It's keeping me motivated. The subscribe stuff is great. It helps me keep going, and it's going. So slowly but surely, but we're going to keep at it. So thanks. Another thing I kind of wanted to add that I spaced earlier, I'm going to try to do a better job of adding some links in a lot of my descriptions based on, generic stuff will probably be Amazon links, but, some of my fly tying stuff, I've got some products that are harder to find. So there's a couple links to a few fly shops that offer those products. Another thing I wanted to mention too, a lot of the gear fishing stuff, you can translate and make, I make a lot of my own lures for gear fishing too, like big bucktail jigs, that Laker Crusher smallmouth thing. I actually like the smallmouth stuff and some of this Clearwater more, olive and gray, something along those lines, blacks. But I make stuff like this. I make tiny hair jigs for the smallmouth in the spring, which are, a lot of it's just a little marabou jig. It's about the easiest thing in the world to tie. I've been playing with some bigger musky jigs on giant jig heads. That's 14, 15 inches. One of the hooks grabbed me in my stern one day, so that got cut off. But, lure customization still is a part of all of it. But, that was just a little something I forgot to mention earlier. So if you got questions on tying them, and you can even see on some of these, I'm doing that shank off the back like I've done on a lot of the flies I've tied, just to keep the feathers away from fouling a little bit. I can go light flash if I want. Hard to find black and silver in a bucktail, so I got a little silver in there, not a ton. But whatever, that was one other thing that I just wanted to mention. I'm trying to think if there's anything else as I look at all my fine trolling lures that have a special place in my heart. Just because I've caught some huge fish doing it. I've got 2 fish on the wall right now. One is that brown that was a reproduction, and the other one is a 53.5-inch muskie I got that died on me trolling. It's not the heaviest fish I've caught. It is the longest fish I caught. So, that's kind of where my head is. Brown trout and muskies are #1 in my book. But those big smallmouth on fly rods are fun too. Anyway, thanks for checking this out, and let me know if you got questions, concerns. Feel free to comment. I try to get back to you guys as quick as possible. So hopefully that's working for you guys. Thanks.